few days. Even given the food issue, the swarm would soon catch up. Already its front-runners had made their way to its walls, all hastily shot down by the guards that constantly man the walls. If the lack of food and cold didn't kill us, they surely would. Askal gave his pointy head a shake, letting out a snort that sent plumes of fog into the air. I felt the Askala's warm exhalation on my cheek before it was replaced with stinging cold. "Well," I asked Anna, "you ready?" Anna nodded. It had been 3 days since the Xenoswarm attacked us on that hill, which led to our being locked behind Pyrite's walls. Odin's sweeps of the area reported that the swarm was gathering, beginning to spread itself in a long line north to south. It was readying itself to make its final push westward. Despite all that we had learned about the xenovirus and the monsters it spawned, we still didn't know the most important things. Why hadn't they attacked yet while we were still so weak? Ashton's theory was that they couldn't be away from xenofungus for long, which made sense. The fungus was their main food source, even if they did eat people and animals sometimes. Their need to be close to a blight was the one weakness we could pinpoint. It would be nice if we could find a way to get rid of that fungus, but when blights already covered so much of the United States, it seemed like an exercise in futility. Pyrite itself was about 50 miles from the Great Blight, meaning that if these creatures wanted to eat, they had to travel a fair distance between the Great Blight and Pyrite. There were smaller blights, of course, but these were fairly distant from Pyrite. That said, they were growing at an alarming rate. One small blight had cropped up to the southeast of Pyrite and another to the southwest, each about 20 miles away. The real question we all had was how long it would take these smaller blights to join together. Not just these ones close to Pyrite, but all of them. Months? Years? Hopefully it would be no faster than that. Askal unfolded his wings as Anna and I approached his side. I climbed up, using one of his haunches as a stepping stone. I twisted myself and settled on his back between the two ridges that formed a natural, secure seat. I held out a gloved hand to Anna. She reached up, clasping my forearm as I clasped hers. I held tightly as she boosted herself up, and I guided her to Askal's back. Soon she was seated behind me, wrapping her arms around my torso. I felt a little warmth filter in through my outer layers. Perhaps it would be enough to keep the cold at bay. I felt her shake slightly as a particularly chilly wind blew. I checked my belt to make sure my Beretta was still holstered on my right side. I had left the AR behind because I was going light. I didn't plan on getting into any fights. If there was trouble, the plan was to tuck tail and run back to Askal. That was what Makara had told me to do, and I didn't argue on that point. This mission had been more Ashton's idea than anyone else's. It seemed he still held out hope that Bunker 108 was an option. All the same, I wasn't getting my own hopes up. I'd seen what had happened there, and from the way things looked, I'd be seeing it all over again. One of the curious effects of being so fortified against the cold was that I could not communicate with Askal. Sighing, I took off my right glove, feeling like my hand was doused in ice-cold water the minute it touched the air. I hadn't even checked my watch for the temperature. I was afraid of what I might see. I pressed my hand on Askal's smooth back. The scales were hard, but surprisingly warm. Instantly, Askal's thought entered my mind. As it did so, I felt my eyes tickle a bit. It was a very weird feeling. I knew then what was happening. My eyes were changing. I kept my face turned from Anna so she didn't have to see. "A fine day for a flight." I gave a short laugh, my breath sending a cloud of white condensation into the air. "I thought you guys didn't get cold," I thought. Askal snorted. It caused his whole body to shake, and Anna held on to me more tightly. "We fare better than you puny humans, but too long and cold like this would bring down even the mightiest Askala." "Well, good thing we have the mightiest around." I felt a bit of doubt coming from Askal, but all the same, he stamped his feet in preparation to cast off for the cold, dark sky above.